Are you an introvert happy to stay at home and study English? Do you hate being forced to practice English in class with a partner, or worse, with a tutor or a teacher or another native English speaker? In this video, I'm going to give you a fun, easy, 4-step method for practicing English alone, cozy in your own home, without a partner and without AI. It's a method that is 100% effective for becoming conversational in English, as long as you are serious about learning and you follow everything that I tell you to do in this video. You do not need to be a super extroverted person in order to learn English. Introverts can learn English too and can become very proficient speakers of English, in some cases much better speakers than extroverts in my experience as a teacher. If you are consistent with this 4-step method, I guarantee you will become a better English speaker than 99% of students who are spending tons of money on classroom English lessons. I promise you. For the remainder of this video, please remember to turn the subtitles on down below if you need them. So I have a 2-year-old son, and he learned his alphabet, his English alphabet, by doing puzzles, playing games, and singing songs. It's probably the same way that you learned your alphabet in your first language. But imagine if my husband and I had forced our son to do boring exercises in a book. It probably wouldn't have worked, or it would have taken a very long time for our son to learn his alphabet that way. So for step 1, right now, from the comfort of your own living room or your own bed, I want you to choose any video you want, from YouTube, from Netflix, whatever, TikTok, or a piece of audio content, so like an audiobook or a podcast. Some examples are celebrity interviews on YouTube, beauty content, political speeches or news, history, math, science, philosophy, comedy, medical YouTube channels. It's best if there is a lot of dialogue, so not just like cars crashing. Whatever it is, make sure that it is deeply interesting for you, or this is not going to work. I'll list some ideas for interesting videos down below if you're having trouble finding something. And then hold on to that thing, that video or audio. We'll come back to it in just a minute. So whenever my son learns a new word in English with me or in French with his dad, it's pretty cool to watch how he takes these words and he practices them with his toys. So essentially, he speaks to himself, using the words that he just learned from us. So we're gonna steal a quick tip from children, the best language learners on earth according to many people, and we're going to try speaking to ourselves. Specifically, we're going to try mimicking or shadowing using the video from step 1. So pull out your video or audio. I want you to watch it or listen to it, and you can use subtitles. Make note of all of the vocabulary and phrases that you hear. Everything that's new for you, write it down in your notebook. Stop when you have about 20 new vocabulary words or phrases. Once you feel like you have a decent understanding of what is being said in that part of the video or that part of the audio, we're going to start our mimicking exercise. I want you to watch it again, and this time, every time a line is said, every time someone says something in the video, you are going to repeat right after that person. Just like you are a parrot, or just like you are that person's shadow. That's why this technique is often called shadowing.
They're listening to me right now.
They're listening to me right now. They're listening to me right now.
Yeah. Did she have a good time?
Did she have a good time? Did she have a good time? Did she have a good time? Did she have a good time?
Yeah, she had a great time.
Yeah, she had a great time. Yeah, she had a great time.
Ça fait longtemps que je n'ai pas filmé.
Ça fait longtemps que je n'ai pas filmé. Ça fait longtemps que je n'ai pas filmé.
Et on se pose.
Et après,
Et on discute.
on se pose et on discute.
Je vais commencer par ranger la cuisine.
Je vais commencer par ranger la cuisine. Je vais commencer par ranger la cuisine.
Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes a day, minimum. My son does this for many, many hours a day to practice his language learning, FYI. Anytime you're watching a TikTok in English, anytime you're watching a series, I want you to repeat after the characters out loud. It's really important that you start to adjust your muscles. You are training yourself. You are creating muscle memory. Try it now and just start to notice how your brain is adjusting, how your mouth is adjusting to the way that stress works in English, to the way that intonation matches people's emotions and the meanings of the sentences in English. See how your brain starts to recognize grammatical patterns without even opening a grammar book. This is practice that you simply cannot get in English class, but that my son does every moment of the day. You will quickly see how steps 1 and 2 of this method are so simple, and yet they will get you to about 75% of your speaking goals if you are consistent. And you absolutely can do this. There are people learning English every day who are not as smart as you. They just practice more. Okay, so let's go back to my son. He has learned a new phrase. He knows what it means. He can repeat it to himself or to his toys. Does that make him a proficient English speaker? Well, no, not yet. My son is still in step 2 of this process, sometimes dipping his toe into step 3. Because step 3 is going to require you to do more than just listen and more than just mimic. You need to now take what you have heard and what you have understood and engage with it. This is how you will truly learn to be a great English speaker. I want you to imagine right now that a friend or a teacher, a person who you might want to speak with someday, is asking you the following questions about the video that you just watched and mimicked. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Why or why not? Was it interesting? Why or why not? How did it make you feel? You can go ahead and answer these questions immediately if you feel ready. Or you can do what I like to do in my own language learning process and write down your answers first. You can even check them in something like Google Translate or ChatGPT, and then you're going to read them out loud. It's the reading them out loud part that is the most important. Try to learn a good amount of connecting words and become comfortable with using them so that you can form longer and more creative sentences. I used to work as a test proctor for the SAT and ACT exam, which is an exam that many high school students take to get into universities in the United States. But the students that I proctored for often lived in other countries or in other states from me. So I would proctor their exams online via Zoom. I would watch the students take these exams and time them. Even though these were only practice exams, sometimes they would even have pretty serious anxiety just because somebody was watching them take this test and timing them. I tell you this story because I want to tell you to do something that you are not going to want to do. But if you do it, it will help you so much and help you progress so much faster with your English speaking, especially if you're going to be practicing alone. And that is to practice answering those questions that we discussed either in front of a mirror, which is the easy one, or to video record yourself doing these answers. The pressure of being recorded mimics the pressure that you might feel having these conversations in real life with a real person. You could even add an extra layer of pressure by setting a timer for yourself to answer these questions. You don't have to watch the videos again. You can delete them right after, but the pressure of being recorded has some sort of psychological power. And if you can talk to a camera, you can talk to another person. If you are brave, it is a good idea to look back at the videos that you made and listen for your mistakes. You'll become really, really good at self-assessing. Really successful, proficient speakers of English will start to do steps 1, 2, and 3 of this video throughout their entire day. If you start to do this throughout the day, you will essentially be living your life in English, in your head. Even if you live in another country, even if you never speak to another soul in English. If you feel like you have mastered that first video or audio that you chose, move on to another one. A good learner and a proficient speaker of English will ask themselves, what did I think about that? How did I feel about that? How did I feel about that video? What did I think about that article? And then they will start to form answers, sentences in their head, or in writing, or even better, out loud. I need to say, as an English teacher, there has been significant research that language is learned through social interaction, or that it is best learned through social interaction. In fact, this is how children develop most of their language skills, by talking to other people. But also, adults and children are not the same. And what this 4-step method will give you is a very solid foundation for conversational English, so that when you are ready to speak to people in English, you have the confidence to do so. You have done enough practice by yourself under some pressure conditions that it's not really a big deal when you start finally speaking to other people in English. If you are feeling brave and you want to learn English quickly the way that my child does, I recommend that you check this video out next.
C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O,